Hey everybody, I'm going to try a little different format tonight. It's not a live show, but I think I'm going to do a little bit of talking. Tonight, instead of painting, we're going to be putting plastic miniatures together. And these plastic miniatures in particular are for a game called Guards. Ah, my light is too bright. Guards of Traitor's Toll. That's a little blurry, but my camera's set up for the miniature assembly. So what's Guards of Traitor Toll? Well, it's a game designed by Graham Davey and published by Gray for new games. Just to put it out there, no affiliation. This isn't paid advertising or anything like this. I just like giving credit to the game designer and to the publisher of the game. It's a skirmish adventure game set in a fantasy city where players take on the role of guards, maintaining order, chasing criminals, and uncovering deeper plots. So there are 6 different bodies on this sprue, and you get to design 6 different guardsmen for the game to be in your little group of guards. So you can have up to 2 that have ranged weapons. There's a crossbow here I see, and a bow. I don't know a lot about the game. My husband found it, and it's a game he'd like to try, and I'm always up to a new miniatures game. So I think I'm going to start with my ranged people. So we have this body here. Then we have this body, and up here, if I can get it to focus in, we have this body here. And then over on this side, we have a body with legs. I'm sure the torso is somewhere. And then we gotta flip it again. We have this body. And we have, I keep covering him up, this body. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm still getting used to the camera angle and stuff like that too. And like the whole mirror image thing, going back and forth, trying to show you guys things. So I'll get better as I do this more. So I think I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to start with the ranged. I think I'm going to go with a crossbow. I think this crossbow looks pretty cool. I think I'll have fun painting that as well after I get these assembled, and then my husband would prime them. I don't do the priming, he does. And then after he primes them, I paint them. So the instructions that come with the game give some tips for assembly. And it says that they recommend starting with a body and then attach the arms with plastic glue. And then there's some pieces that are paired. And again, my lights are going to deceive me here. So let's move them a little bit for a moment. So it's probably not going to focus very well, but any of the pieces that match in color, they're paired pieces. So we have this piece and this piece that are blue. And then we have this piece with a hand piece all the way up here. And we have a head and some hair over here. Like I said, it's not very good on focusing on paper, but trust me, that's what we have. I'm going to bring the lights back in because you cannot see my models with just my overhead light. There we go. And I think I might want to do the paired body first. It's this one, I said it's got the waist down, no torso. So that one goes with this piece over here, right there. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting those out in just a moment. Let me get my goggles on. I have to take my regular eyeglasses on when I put together and paint some models because they're so small and my eyes are so bad that my husband found these really cool magnifying headbands that I put on so I can see better. And hopefully it will help me show you what I do to do these models. Okay, that should be good. Is that good for you guys? I think so. All right, there's also a duck on here, which I find interesting. I'm curious about the duck. Very curious about the duck. So I'm going to start with this guy here. This one here. So I'm going to turn him around so he'll show up on the camera better. Adjust that just a minute. Make sure. Okay, so I guess focus isn't real important because I'll be moving it around to cut him out. It's important to cut at the very edge here. Now this piece here, it's got like a flat, can you see that? See how it's flat like that? I'm actually going to flip the sprue around. So if you look on the back here, where is he? You look on the back and see if I can get the angle right. Maybe not. But behind here, actually really could get the camera angle correct here. Right there. See how it's like more pointed? So that's the side that you want to be doing it on. I'm just going to snip like this. And then I'm going to get the cloak piece that goes with it. Oh, see, like I said, there was a torso somewhere. It's right here on the other side of the cloak. So I'm just going to look. And actually, this is probably the side I'm going to clip all of these off of. It looks like it. Would be the best side to do that on. Put the sprue to the side, put down my snippers. Now the next thing is we got to clean up some of this here. The base isn't as important, but you don't really want these pieces like that. And this is going to interfere with putting the torso on. And then these pieces here where the sprue connected, I want to clean that up. So I have an X-Acto knife. And I'm going to just clean them up real quick. There's also some lines on here that you can clean up if you want to. Depending on what model it is, sometimes I don't do the lines. Like if I'm doing Skaven Rats or Age of Sigmar by Warhammer, I might leave the lines on and not take the extra time because they're gnarly animals anyways. Adds a little character to them. And means less time getting them prepared for painting. And painting's really the part that I really enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I like assembling my models, but sometimes it can be aggravating to do that. And we're going to do the same thing on the cloak. Now when I'm doing this, for the most part, I'm using actually the back side of the X-Acto knife, not the sharp side, because the back side will take off just the bad stuff. Once you get down to the good plastic, it stops. Sometimes though, I might use the sharp side, like right here, where it's like really far up, just to get a little bit closer. Sometimes if it's really big and I really can't get to it, or it's making it difficult to get it off with the X-Acto knife, for safety reasons, I grab my clippers again and clip it back a little bit closer to the plastic. It's all dependent on how the sprue goes, what kind of piece it is, how important is it to get it off. Now I'm going to make sure this is nice, which it is. This one cleaned up really good because this is the base of the character. When they stand on the table, you don't want to really rock either on the table, so clean that up. Now, these two pieces, you have the, oh, dropped him. You take the legs, slide them up. I like to kind of put them together first before I glue them. And I'm going to clean this up just a little bit more. And I think it's going to go, it's supposed to go kind of like that. So I'm going to get my plastic glue. Oh, sounds like the baby's done with his dinner. Here, I'm back there. Said about something. Put this on here. Kind of press them together. I'm just looking at my paper for reference here. Just go on straight. But it's going to take a little more plastic glue. I'm going to put it in between in here. Kind of get it pressed good in together. Not fitting quite the way I was hoping it would. It should be turned a little, but it doesn't look quite right. Oh, there we go, I think. Maybe. No, that still doesn't look great. It doesn't look right in the back. That's my problem with this model already. I don't feel like this is going on like it should. Maybe. Just like, whoops. Yeah, my glue dried up on me. If I turn him too far so he's kind of level there, then it's not over here. Well, maybe I'll get through one model tonight. Maybe. This torso and body is killing me. I just can't figure out how it should go. Maybe it's that. Okay. So my plastic glue is getting kind of low, so I'm gonna put my glue top back on all the way to get the enough glue in on the brush. I think I'm gonna do it like this. Okay. So what you think? I think it looks pretty good. Right here. A little trick to help hide lines. This glue essentially like kind of like melts the plastic. So there's that little guy. We have a cloaked dude. And let's see. That crossbow is the one with the hand. So we turn it this way. The hand that goes with it is this one here. Nope, can't see it. This one here. Cut that out. And then where's my crossbow? There's my crossbow. So it looks like the crossbow, I'm going to be snipping this one and this one on this side, and then I'm going to have to flip it to get these two off. There we go. So now we'll clean these up. Got the itty bitty arm here. One side of the crossbow, and then we have our crossbow. So, this is just so itty bitty. This piece here is still on there. And it's pretty large. So instead of trying to get my X-Acto knife in there to get that huge piece off, I'm just going to snip it off. Just like that. And then clean it up. It's Sorry for my big fingers, but it's an itty bitty teeny tiny piece. So there you go. All gone. And a little bit of white you see, it'd be primed and then painted over. And it won't even be noticeable. And then again, if you look at the crossbow here, we got a couple great big pieces of sprue that just didn't come off in those two areas. And then we have a spot here that's a little bit, you know, on the larger side compared to how big this piece is. And this one's not too bad. So I think these other three, though, are going to get snippered. So this one here, snippered right nice close to the model. Like that. Now I'll just be getting a little bit of that off. And then here. And right here. I try to do things so I don't end up slicing myself. It has happened, even taking precautions. Copying is something that you can be very careful of because plastic copies, because it can be dangerous if you're not careful. Not careful, you could really hurt yourself with the equipment. Also remember that you really should be using this plastic glue in a well-ventilated area. Sometimes you won't even notice it, especially if as your bottle gets older. There are still fumes coming off of them. And that in itself can be dangerous. Yeah. Add in the danger of using sharp objects with getting high off the fumes. And yeah, you could have a recipe for disaster for yourself and anyone else who might be around you. You can make people sick. I don't hobby typically with the youngest one of the house, which is under 2. Right, so I almost missed this piece of flashing. That's very important because that's where this other hand's going to attach, because that is the hand, or the other arm, because that's the hand that goes to that arm. You want to make sure that gets good and clean so they attach smoothly. All right, let's go to our tips about the best way to do this. For the tip about arms, it says prepared arm, test fit first and adjust parts to meet. Plastic glue takes a minute to set, which helps. Okay. So I can tell on this model here, if I take the crossbow, because it needs to go upright, because that would really suck if the guard was trying to shoot it wrong, shoot it, you know, not upright. Oh, I don't know. I mean, if he's a good enough marksman, maybe he could do it upside down. But then his hands would look weird because these models are, you know, humanoid. So if the crossbow is upside down, the thumb's going to be underneath, and that's just not biologically possible. So this is going to go here like this. And then this one's going to come over here. So this is a hard part too, especially with some people who have larger hands like myself. But it is a good idea to do this test fit thing first. So I'm going to do this, and then this is going to go here. Something like that. Okay. Not exactly, because obviously the arm's going to be attached to the hand. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take this hand, this arm, and glue it to the hand, I think. Let's see. It's going to go something like this. Or maybe I should glue the arm on. That's what I'll do. I'll glue the arm on, then glue the crossbow on. Bring them together, and then slip the glue in between the wrist and the hand. So I'm going to go this side first. I wanted to go with the crossbow first, but then I ended up putting glue on this arm, on this armpit instead. And now I'm going to come over here really quick, get some glue onto this one. Don't worry about the glue that slides down into a crevice. It'll just dry. Make sure you don't hit it with anything. It's not going to do anything to your model. And if you do, just pin it over so it looks better. So there we go. So we got the two arms on. Now I got to make sure this arm and that hand line up nicely, and I think they do. Put a little drop of glue in there. Like that. Press them together. Wait for it to hold. Go over here. Now, over here, you end up seeing that that's a little off with the arm, which is okay because it just popped off of it. So that's a bit better. Like that, I think. Now it looks kind of odd on the top. Let's see here. Can I get the top and the bottom to agree with each other? Wait, this arm needs to come up, I think. More glue up here. Try not to let the glue set too much. It needs to be right there. Okay, good news is the crossbow arm's not greatly in place yet. So still adjust that. There we go. I think I got it. It's on the top half, it kind of looks right. Up here. Nope, until I move it. And all because I want a guy with a crossbow. Use a little bit of glue. This. There we go. And over here. You see, this arm is popping off of there. This arm's looking good, and the hands looks good. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna get the crossbow to agree with the other side of the arm. There we go. That's how you do it. No more glue. Makes the plastic melt a little bit, and it ends up filling in that hole. I couldn't seem to get to go away. Over here in this shoulder. I'm gonna put a little more in here. Push it in. Push the shoulder right in. This wrist is looking good. Okay. Now, last but not least, you got to pick a head. So the sprue actually has quite a few heads to pick from. We've got more over on this end. I think the first one I'm going to go with is it? Where is he? Is it this one I'm looking at? Nope. Over here, this guy. This is the guy I'm going to go for. That one right there. Quick little snip. And, oh, he went flying. I'm going to get the sprue off of it. The remaining sprue using my X-Acto knife. Again, you're not going to be able to see much just because it's so tiny and so big. There we go. I just think this head's kind of cute. Let's see if I can show it to you a little closer here. I just think it's a cute little chubby dude. So, oh, I keep throwing his head around. So now, head's obviously going to go here at the top of his body. Put some glue right here. How much of the video I've been doing that for? I apologize if that's what I've been doing. And because we got the arrow pointing in that way, I want to see if I can kind of get his head pointed in that way. So it looks like he's looking in the direction of what he's aiming at. For some reason, the head doesn't want to stick. All right, now this is what I don't like, is when the glue gets on my fingers, because sometimes your fingers will smudge some of the details. So I'm hoping I just don't get it on its face. That's really gets hard to paint if his face is smudged. Faces for me are hard enough to paint. course, his head's not sticking to my finger. For me, faces are hard enough to paint that I don't need to add the added issue of a smudged face to try to make it look better than what it does because of the glue smudging the plastic. I'm just gonna try and get him to turn his head just a little bit this way. Kind of like that. There we go. That's like perfect. I love it. I'm just going to add a little more glue under here. So I want to make sure he stays in that position. And there we go. My first guardsman with a crossbow. He's a pretty little cool guy. As you can probably tell, he's really actually quite tiny when you think about my hands. Like I said, the helmet did get smushed a little bit because I got some glue on my fingers while putting the head on. Overall, success. So I'm going to stop it with this one for tonight. Next time I'm on, we'll do my next ranged guardsman. So I'm going to get my ranged guys out of the way. And then we'll start doing some melee guys. Maybe I'll be able to get actually 2 of them done because I don't have another one where we got to try and get the torso to go on so it looks the way that I want it to. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the build. See you next time. Bye. All right, where's my mouse? Oh, got to click.